How's it going, folks? Forza Motorsport 6 is out on September the 18th in the UK. It's exclusive to Xbox One, and the TV commercial for the game has just dropped. Now, Forza Motorsport trailers and videos are always beautiful and do a great job of showing off how gorgeous the game is, but you'd be pushing it a bit to suggest that they've always been fun. That's usually been the domain of Forza Horizon, which is kind of like the 3am donuts in the B&Q car park to Motorsport's serious race day simulation. But that's where this new Forza Motorsport commercial is different. It places Forza Motorsport in amongst the history of the racing video game in a really smart and fun way. There's loads of nostalgia in here if you remember these games, and if you don't, there's lots to find out about. So let's get into it. We open on the all-new 2017 Ford GT, the modern-day rebirth of a solid gold motorsport icon, and the cover car for Forza Motorsport 6. It looks absolutely gorgeous. So far, so Forza. But what's this? The Ford GT has actually found itself in the depths of racing video game history. It's racing in Gran Trak 10, one of the very first racing games. Developed by Atari and launched in the arcades in 1974, Gran Trak 10 was a single-player top-down racer where you earn points by racing against the clock. It was the first arcade game to offer a steering wheel, a gear stick with 4 gears, and foot pedals as well. So we're right back at the dawn of racing video games here. But what's this? A blocky bitmap truck with a wee aerial on top? We're moving from Gran Trak to another classic racer, RC Pro-Am, developed by our very own Rare Limited here in the UK. Launching on the NES in 1987, RC Pro-Am used an isometric viewpoint as you walloped your little radio-controlled car around the track. RC Pro-Am also introduced some firsts for racing, pickups to tune up your car, on-track speed boosts, and as you can see here in a really nice nod to Forza Motorsport 6 new wet racing, puddles on the track which would slow you down. From RC Pro-Am we speed into Pole Position, an open-wheel arcade racer from Namco which debuted in the arcades in 1982 and actually became the most popular arcade game of 1983. It was the first racing game to popularise the behind-the-car chase cam and also the first racing game to feature a real racetrack, the Fuji racetrack, then home of the Japanese Grand Prix, and you can see Mount Fuji in the background here. Another nice touch is that Pole Position was the first racing game to feature F1 style product placement with real brands on the billboards at the side of the road. You can see that in the commercial here there's a Galaga advert on the side of the track. We'll come back to Galaga in a minute. And with all these firsts, Pole Position is regarded as perhaps the most influential racing game of all time. If you crashed in Pole Position, you'd cause a huge pixel explosion, which is what we drive through and find ourselves in a desert hot pursuit. It's the helicopter that gives this one away. This is Chase HQ, a 1980 arcade game from Taito that later found its way onto every console and home computer under the sun. Chase HQ was a great twist on the racing genre, casting you as Miami Vice style cops running down criminals and running them off the road. And in the Forza commercial, we're seeing a version of Chase HQ Stage 5, complete with amazing corn billboard. Nice work, corn advertisers. The helicopter is an iconic visual reminder of Chase HQ, as is the reference to the end of level screens where officers Tony Gibson and Raymond Brody would apprehend the criminals. That's good work, boys. Through the tunnel and we're into the dusty skies and sparkling shorelines of Ridge City from Namco's 1993 arcade game Ridge Racer. Ridge introduced texture map polygon cars and a drift-heavy driving style and iconic sunshine-drenched tracks. And there was even an arcade version of the game where you sat in a real Mazda MX-5 to play. In the Forza commercial, you can see a reference to 1992 Namco game Solvaloo on the sides of the cars, one of the first FPS games in the arcades. And on the side of this building here, you can see Elastic. We think this is a reference to the rubber banding AI that Ridge Racer popularized, where your opponents adjust their speed based on your performance. On the video screen above the track here, you can see a version of Galaga, which was included as a mini-game on the console version of the game. By console, I mean PlayStation 1. It was actually the first game I ever played on PlayStation, and it was the first truly authentic home version of an arcade racing game. Alright, we've whistle-stopped through the history of racing video games, explored some influential firsts and seminal games, and here we are at the pinnacle. In a lot of ways, the Rio track in Forza Motorsport 6 is a love letter to the racing game genre. It's sunny, it's bright, it's fast, it's twisty, and it has a bunch of nice environmental details like the plane and the helicopter which take you back to the first time you saw that type of effect in a racing game. Forza Motorsport 6's tagline is "This is what we've been racing towards," and I think the commercial does a great job of showing how the impact of all those other racing games has got us right here. Forza Motorsport 6 is out on September the 18th in the UK. Make sure you get involved in our Forza Fuel competition for a chance to win a trip to the Circuit of Americas in Texas for the ultimate Forza experience. And don't forget to check out our Forza Special Edition console unboxing video as well. Drop us a like if you enjoyed this video, leave us a comment if you have any memories of your own to share or noticed anything else in the TV ad that I missed, and make sure you subscribe to Xbox On for much more like this. I'll see you later.